Price I would have loved to have met. Dr. Phibes, both those movies are so original. I'm surprised no one's remade those. They're MGM films, and MGM basically gives away their title. Like, I'm surprised no one took that yet. But he always had that. See, the thing about Vincent Price is that he had that twinkle in his eye, so you never were really frightened. Like, he did The Raven, all those Roger Corman movies. There was they were self-aware, so they knew they were being funny. Mask of the Red Death was good with Vincent Price, but I think he really shined on the Dr. Phibes films and Michael Jackson's Thriller. Those three things, but yeah. Because that's suspense. If you're dumb and clueless, you're programming the audience to go nuts, and that's very Hitchcockian. Hitchcock was the master of suspense, I should say, because he would take the camera and go through a window, and he would show 4 people playing cards, okay, and he would stay on them playing cards, and then the camera would come down, and you would see a bomb under the table. And then he'd bring the camera back up, and they're still playing cards. But the audience is going, get out of there! There's a bomb under that table! And that's suspense. So to have somebody fall, or the monster's in there, so the audience is smarter than the people on the screen. And so it's a human reaction to want to save each other. So you're like, don't go in there. Are you stupid? Because you know something the character in the movie doesn't know. And so that's why they act dumb and clueless, because it's an element of suspense. It's overused, but you know what? It never fails to get you. And again, it's a genre expectation. Oh, that's a good question, John. I hated Blair Witch Project. I hated it. And I remember I had a screener of it, and I took it to some people's houses, and half of us hated it, half of them loved it. And they're going on, oh my God, that's true, that's all true. I'm going, it's got credits at the end. It's not true. What's wrong with you people? But you know what's good? The Blair Witch video game that came out now. It starts out really slow, but once you get into the house and stuff, oh my God, it's scary. It's a 2-diaper game. Wear 2 diapers when you play that game. There's a little bit too much of the sneaking around, which I don't really like. It's because it scares me. But as far as found footage, I mean, it's, Cannibal Holocaust, I think, did it right. I think that it was a story within a story, and that they found the lost explorer's camera, and it mixed in with the story of them putting it together. And so Cannibal Holocaust, I think, did it really well. But yeah, I'm not a big fan. I'm trying to think. There was one I just saw. They go underground. It is As It Is Above, I think it's called. Somebody help me out. It's above as it is below, or something like that. It's got the guy Ben Feldman from Superstore in it. That was a really good found footage movie. I think it's on Netflix. But yeah, I think it's kind of cheap, and it's too easy. Now, having said that, what found footage movies?
No, that one that you were talking about.
It's called As Above as It Is Below, or something like that. Ben Feldman is in it. If you want to look up Ben Feldman and look up his movies. But it's on Netflix now, and it's pretty scary. I mean, it really had me going. And it has a jump scare in it that was so cheap, but it made me spill my Sprite on my lap. Not a good feeling. Yeah, that's it. As above, so below. So good. That's a good found footage movie. But and then there was one called Jerusalem with a Z, where these kids are in Jerusalem when a zombie outbreak happens, and I watched it, so it was okay. But anyway, I'm not a big fan. No, they tried to remake the Munsters so many times. Munsters Today, Munsters Now. No, that cast.
That stuff was cringy. That was cringy. What was the one in the '60s or something it was based in, where they come back?
Oh yeah, no. Well, no. That's the movie. Yeah. No, that you're right. That's the Munsters Now. The Munsters Today. That was horrible. Lee Merriweather was Lily. It was, but I mean that's where casting was just. It was a perfect storm for the original Munster. All of those characters worked. You know, and that's I love that show. I mean, and the movies too were even good. Even the bad TV movie where they're robots. But it's just the chemistry of the actors. Same with the Addams Family. The Addams Family movies I like, but they can't touch the TV series because that cast was perfect. My friend John is asking, would you like to see a Legend of Zelda movie? No, because they'll ruin it. they'll whatever they do, they'll ruin it. Have you seen the Castlevania series on Netflix?
No, I didn't know it was.
Yeah, it's awesome. They got it. You know, they didn't stick to the video games too much, but I think it's awesome. I think that Castlevania did a really good job. But here, it's tough to adapt, and I'll tell you my own experience. When I did the Atlas Shrug movie, okay, like that's a holy tome to some people. And I wanted to go in there and respect that. I mean, whether you like the book or not, it means a lot to a lot of people. And I mean, they tried to make that movie for 30 years, but they never got a script or they never could get together, you know, to get it approved. But they took mine. And I think it's because when people, this really pisses me off. When people say, oh, you know what? The book was better. No. I don't want any of you saying that ever again. Because the book is different. The book is not better. It's a different medium. You can spend a lot of time. That's why Stephen King movies don't work for the most part, because you can't put all that character in it. You got to find the heart of the book to make a movie, and that's what I did with Atlas Shrugged. I read it and I said, what is the heart? You know, forget all the politics and all the, you know, what is the heart of the book? Well, the heart of the book is that a woman was trying to protect her family business, which was a railroad, from three factors: a stupid idiot brother, a government that was taking money out of people's pockets, the rich people's pockets, to give to the poor, and meanwhile, by doing that, bankrupting the businesses. And so then, you know, we're falling into a recession, and so they tax the rich people more to pay for these the poorer people. And then the third thing was a mysterious person is spiriting away all the brains of the world, all the smart people of the world, to an island. He's spiriting them off. And those are the three things that she's dealing with. And so from there, you can make a movie. But it's like anything that people keep true to their heart, they see it as something else. So Atlas Shrugged was my vision of the book. And I'm sorry that it upset some people. I'm sorry it upset some people so much that I woke up with a gun in my face.
What?
Yeah. I woke up with a gun in my face. It was 3 police officers. Very long story short, somebody called in suicide with a gun on me. They got my address and called the police and said I was committing suicide. And so then we figured it out. I wasn't committing suicide. I was sleeping. And that's, and so later I called the police station and I said, can you tell me a little more about why you came into my apartment and almost shot me in the face? And they're like, well, somebody called in saying someone named Ryan was committing a suicide with a gun. And if somebody's committing suicide with a gun, we have the right to go in and do what we need to do. And I said, someone named Ryan. Well, my name's Brian, so that's close. So I didn't think too hard about that. And I said, well, did the person leave a name? And they said, oh yeah, Ann. And I'm like, Ann? And I'm like, oh. So someone named Ann, but actually it's pronounced Ian. So someone named Ian Rand, who wrote the books Atlas Shrugged, called in the death threat to me. Death suicide. So I mean that's I got death threats for Atlas Shrugged. I got some really mean emails. It was intense. But people came to me when the movie was done and they were like, thank you for doing that. And you know what the best part of doing Atlas Shrugged is that my friend John had been trying so long to get that book made, and his dream was to take the movie and go to Ayn Rand's grave and put it on there, so as an honor to her, because that book means everything to him. So to be able to help somebody get their dream made, that meant a lot to me. I'm sorry that there were so many negative forces, because once it was approved, everybody had an opinion, everybody was changing things, the movie didn't perform well, so everyone's pointing fingers, it was kind of a mess, and it was sad. But it got done, and it was a good experience. Yeah, this is the question I get asked the most. So thanks for asking. If you can, there will never be a sequel to Dog Soldiers. I wrote a prequel and 2 sequels. Sci-Fi Channel was really wanted us to make a sequel. They were going to pay for it and stuff like that, but there was internal problems and it never happened. And I think it's better. I think Dog Soldiers should just stand alone. But if I was the first sequel that I made for it started right after the first one. Those to me are the best sequels. Phantasm 2, Halloween 2, that continue right after the first movie stopped. That's to me is what a sequel should be, or something that continues like Damien Omen 2. That was a perfect sequel because it took you to the next level and it wasn't a cash-in. I think Basement Jack would be a great VR game. Sleep Stalker would be a great VR game.
I got you calling it Sandman now, don't I?
Yeah, you do. Stop. Yeah. And there will not be a Bride of Sandman. Don't even bring it up.
Oh, I was going to. I was just waiting for the moment.
I don't own the rights.
I'm going to Photoshop a picture of like a Bride and the Sandman together, and I'm just going to make a picture for you. I'm going to send it to you.
Yeah, do that. But I would want to do something original. None of my films have title recognition, except maybe Dog Soldiers. What was I going to say? I would love to do a scary video game. I did make 2 video games back in the 90s. We were working with Live. This is a good story. We were working with Live Entertainment, and the head of Live wanted us to make video games for them. And they owned Speed Racer, and they owned a character from BMX magazine called Radical Rick. And so I designed games for them. They were made, they were completed. In fact, we got Guns N' Roses to do the theme song, the Speed Racer theme song. They were great games, I thought. But then guess what happened? The sons of the head of Live Entertainment, you might remember the Wacky Menendez brothers, decided they were going to shoot their mom and dad. And so somebody else came into Live Entertainment and with his wisdom said, video games are a flash in the pan, they're never going to last. So there are finished video games somewhere in a warehouse that'll never see the light of day. I mean, I have copies, but, you know. So I hate the Menendez brothers. They cost me a lot of money. Yeah. So, but yeah, video games are hard. I mean, no wonder people are losing their minds. It's tough. It's tough. It's tough business.
So I have a question for you. What are you afraid of?
What am I afraid of? I don't know. I've been through so much. I'm afraid of tomorrow. I mean, I've been homeless. I've eaten out of garbage cans. I used to when I first got to Hollywood. I was broke, like so broke. So I would steal. I remember stealing food from the Hollywood McDonald's. It was really easy because it was like there was a back area, so people would get their food and they'd forget something, so they'd go to the counter to get it, and then you'd just go and snatch their food. And then there was a hotel, not a hotel, sorry, a restaurant called Maselli's, a great Italian restaurant in Hollywood. And they used to take their bread and they'd wrap it in plastic when they threw it out. So yeah, I mean, I had 2 very desperate years. It was tough. I lived through the earthquake. There was the earthquake in '94, and my building was condemned. I mean, so to be afraid. I'm more afraid for other people than myself. I've had a lot of friends who died by their own hand. I've had a lot of friends who got drug overdoses. So, unfortunately, I was surrounded with a lot of death. And so, I fear for other people more than I ever fear for myself. Plus, I'm going to live forever because before I go to bed, I eat a clove of garlic. And so when the angel of death comes, I turn and I go, "Who is it?" Oh, I hate when people ask questions they know the answer to. No, I would never make a film about any of those things. Witches haven't been exploited. I think there's a lot of rich material there. Vampires, zombies, and werewolves have been just done to death. I mean, demons, that's getting there. See, that's the thing about when you have a distributor for film. They're 5 years ahead. They go, like I asked my distributor, I said, look, I'm going to start a film company. I need to know what I should be making. And what's going to be popular are creature features and end of the world tales. So that's what I'm trying to build our first catalog of films on those subject matters, because